I don't know what happened there, but I'm sure we're back on. We're always getting these problems at the moment. But anyway, look, let me start again. It's 4 o'clock, and tomorrow I have a very special 5 p.m. session. And I really want to talk to you on a level that I probably haven't talked to many of you before. And there is a pinned post here if you could really get word out about tomorrow's session. I want to talk to you about the agenda tomorrow of the World Economic Forum in microchipping news. So please don't post anything on it. Let me do my research. Let me do my study. About an issue not just of microchipping you, but this new, let's just say, cause of death that no one wants to talk about. But today, by the way, and tomorrow I've got a very, 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 very major announcement to make. It's going to be pretty powerful tomorrow. And but we also got some great news. But do you remember we used to have Catwoman? Do you remember Catwoman? Well, there's this new trend out now called furries. Now, I want to just say this. I'm not a psychologist and I'm not a psychiatrist, but I have worked with young people and probably reached more teenagers than probably anyone that I know, at least in my industry and as a speaker. Just let me say this, in a 10-year period, I reached over 1 million teenagers in this high school system. Probably spoke to over 3,000 assemblies. And I think I know teenagers well. I know, number one, that you must not believe everything that comes out of their mouth. I learned, number two, that young people have feelings that are transient. They change. They might feel in love today with some boy or girl, and then the next week it's who was it? They have feelings of where they have identity issues as far as sexuality, and they are real. And just because a child, a teen or whatever, experiments doesn't mean they are of that, whether it's gay or bi or whatever it is. But this new phenomenon now, furries, let me just say this. Firstly, if you're a parent and you allow your child to identify as a cat or a dog, let me tell you, you're the problem. You are a problem. Because you are more concerned for that child's temporary feeling than that child's future, that child's mental health, that child's spiritual life, and that child's self-respect. You don't deserve to have a child. Let me say this. Anybody can be a sperm donor, but it takes a real man to be a father that will say, no, we're not doing this. It takes more than the ability to push something out of your womb, ma'am. That doesn't qualify you as a mother. I don't know, maybe I'm starting to think about this birthing parent thing. Kidding. A year 8 student in a private school is identifying as a cat. And the school is complicit and compliant. Listen to me very carefully. I want to talk to this teenager. I say, number one, first thing, as a cat, you don't need an Instagram account. As a cat, you don't need TikTok. As a cat, my dear child, you don't need an iPhone, iPad, or iWatch. As a child, as a cat, you don't need the latest pair of Yeezys or whatever they call them, the latest Adidas, and you don't need the latest Kim Kardashian tracksuit. As a year 8 cat, here's what you also going to have. You're going to have a litter box where you're going to poop and pee in it. Here's what I'm also going to do. I'm going to feed you kitty cat food from the supermarket. Let's see how long you identify as a cat. No, you can't have makeup. And no, you can't go to the mall, sweetheart. And no, you can't go online shopping. You know why? Cats don't do that. Matter of fact, you can't go out with your friends at night. You'll poop in a box. You don't get a bed. Now, of course, I'm being facetious. But the problem here lies in the parent, and the problem lies in the imbecilic school that allows this thing. Someone needs to look this child in the eye and say, straighten up, child. You are not a cat. You are a human being. And you will live like a human being. Otherwise, if you want to live like a cat, we're going to let you roam the streets at night, meowing everywhere. By the way, when you're going to cough up your next fur ball. This is absolutely ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. So you get no makeup, no sneakers, no iPhone, no latest music. Now this either gives me the impression that this child has some serious mental health issues and the parents follow suit. My goodness me, if I went to my dad and said, I'm relating as a dog, I tell you what, he'd snap me out of it quick smart. The problem is in our culture, we've moved away from truths. Right now, you've got parents that have moved away from disciplining children because we don't want to hurt their feelings. You know what? I grew up with a thing called manners. I grew up with a thing called respect. That was basically teaching me not just respect of others, that also taught me self-respect. I was taught values. I was taught that I am a human being made in the image and likeness of God. If you don't like that one, suck that up, sunshine. But we have a society gone mad. We've got a culture that is more concerned with the temporary feelings and catering to those that will lead to long-term detrimental emotional damage to this child. This is a child. The parents and the school ought to be held accountable. And every weak, woke, mindless counselor that buys into this nonsense. This is the crap that the Adam Bants of our world push on us. This is what the green agenda wants. This leftist, wokest, crazy stuff. And I'm annoyed about it because you watch the trend right now. Now, I've got a teenage daughter. My goodness gracious me. She came home to me telling me that she wanted an hour late as a cat. I'll tell you what, she'd have about 24 hours and she'd snap right out of it. I can assure you of that. But because we cater this, we spare the rod, spoil the child. I'm not talking about getting a rod and smacking someone. I'm talking about a rod of correction. Here is a problem. We think correction is disapproval. And it is not. It is not. Now, I'm hoping some of you out there will take heed to this. Because the more the pendulum swings to the left, we need to swing it to the right. I can tell you what. If this teenage girl got all the luxuries afforded to this private school child, wouldn't take her long before she snapped out of it. Give her a dish and feed her cat food. And by the way, next time she's sick, take her to a vet. Don't take her to a doctor. You say, Pat, that's cruel. No. You're a cat, remember? You're a cat. This is either serious mental health, sport brat gone crazy, or demonic possession. And I don't... Pat, are you saying this child's possessed? I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying probably falls in one of these three categories. It's certainly not normal. And any school... And by the way, where is the statement from the church on this? Again, silent as usual. Nothing to say. Irrelevant. Maybe one day I ought to do a eulogy to the church that stands for nothing right now. And of course, the deletes at the World Economic Forum have just recruited information warriors, 110,000 of them, to control social media narrative. But you don't hear about this in the news. You don't hear about it in the news. Tomorrow, I'm going to do an absolute paint peeler here. I'm bringing my wife on as well tomorrow afternoon. But I'm going to talk about the microchipping of your kids. I'm going to talk about the new death, which they don't want you to know about, they don't want you to talk about, they don't want you to investigate. And please don't assume by putting anything up here. Let me say my piece tomorrow, please. And I'm also going to be bringing some great news. We have now locked in our events in Bow Desert. As I said, our website's almost finished. We start in Bow Desert at Harvest Point on the 18th of September, right that whole week, morning and evening rallies, meetings, a revival atmosphere, come from all over Queensland. And then on the first weekend of December, we are going to Perth. Yes, WA, I'm coming to Perth. Put that in your diary. I think it's Sunday the 3rd. We're going to be there in WA. We're coming to WA. Tomorrow, heading up to Toowoomba to plan our meetings in Toowoomba. Then we're going to Hervey Bay and Maryborough. We're going to rock that part of the world. I tell you what, we're going there. Regardless of who wants us there and who doesn't want us there, we're going to be in that area. Gold Coast, planning on that yesterday or whatever it was the other day, sitting there with Pastor Marshall Gray, planning what we're doing on the Gold Coast. And by the way, I'll be at or the 3rd of October as a pre-launch to the big rallies we're doing. So we're coming to Toowoomba, we're coming to Hervey Bay and Maryborough, we're coming to WA, locked in, coming to South Australia as well. I'm talking with our great friends, Pastor Marty down there. So it's going to be a full-on time between now and the end of the year. Our website will be up. Now, I want you to get excited. We need prayer warriors. We need people to help us with various aspects of things. I'm going to be bringing our worship team with us. It's going to be awesome. That we need a revival in this country. We need a spiritual awakening, an economical awakening, a climate awakening. We need an awakening that only can come from heaven to change our earth. So I'm looking forward to that. But tomorrow, 5 p.m. here, it's going to be a paint peeler. Can you share the news? Tomorrow it's going to be on Instagram, and it's going to be on Telegram, and it's going to be on Facebook. 5 p.m. tomorrow. I look forward to it. God bless everyone. And let's really pray for this dear child. Honestly, my heart breaks. I know I'm being facetious, and I am livid, but we need to pray that this child gets delivered. Matter of fact, all of these kids, and believe you me, mental health is a big issue. I couldn't imagine the suffering that this child is going through. All people that are struggling with mental health, and listen to me very carefully before I end this broadcast. I understand the challenge of mental health. Some people go, yeah, sure, right, you're crazy, Mesiti. Well, you should have seen me when I was really, really crazy. When I struggled with depression, mental health, anxiety, and all these things that the trolls out there don't see, that I went through in suffering and different things like that. And people need to be careful what they post about people. And of course, I'm not naming anyone. I didn't name this girl, don't know who she is. But the principle here is one of either mental health, or there's some demonic activity here, or it's a case of a child that needs to be really disciplined. And just remember, a lot of times, and I'm going to say this carefully, respectfully, and with as much compassion as I can, and I want you to hear me. A lot of times, people that go through these things, particularly depression, it can be so self-absorbing and so narcissistic that you don't actually care about people, let alone the suffering that's causing other people. And believe you me, I know that. And I don't say that in a harsh thing. I say that for us to open our eyes and really see that we've got some challenges here with our young people. And of course, all the lockdowns that were brought to us, these things have impacted our society. And incidentally, she's in Dan Andrews' backyard. This poor young child, identifies as a cat. Dan Andrews is a snake and a fox and a deceitful man. And he has to give account to God for what he's done and what he said and what he's continuing to do. And by the way, my name's Pat Mesiti, and I endorse this announcement. So there you go. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 5 p.m. God bless you. Please share, please like, and hey, follow us on our various platforms, mesiti.com/links. God bless you, everyone.